This mask? Watch this. Look. See? You can already tell. See? Look, I'm gonna put it on. See? You know what? That doesn't look that bad. Oh, what the heck? That looks great. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm so excited to talk about this movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Oh my god, it's been what, over a year when they announced actually no, it's been years when they announced this movie, but I think it's like over a year before they got the trailer going, got everything going, whatever, right? So, I don't even know where to begin. I have so many Spider-Man just either toys, clothes. I have a lunchbox. I have freaking look. I got this Squishmallow. Lovely, beautiful. This mask. Watch this. Look. See? You can already tell. See? Look. I'm gonna put it on. See? You know what? That doesn't look that bad. Oh, what the heck? That looks great. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but all right. I'm gonna leave it like this for now. But all right, Spider-Man Brand New Day. This movie is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who's also directed Shang-Chi and Wonder Man, which I just heard they canceled Wonder Man, which is ridiculous because season 1's amazing. Of course, it's one of the best shows that came out of Disney Plus, and they're like, yeah, what if we just canceled it? And they did. So, whatever. Just a little tangent about that because that's ridiculous. Writers are Chris McKenna, Eric Sommers. I think Chris McKenna did the previous Spider-Man movies as well. So, of course, we got our boys right here. Tom Holland, John Bernthal, Jacob Batalon, Mark Ruffalo, and then we have Zendaya and Sadie Sink that all started in this cast. This is a big cast that's in this movie. And there's some other people in this movie that I'm not going to say who. But this movie is about... So, 4 years have passed since the events of No Way Home, and Peter is now an adult living entirely alone, having voluntarily erased himself from the lives and memories of those he loves. Crime fighting in New York that no longer knows his name, he's devoted himself entirely to protecting his city, a full-time Spider-Man. But as the demands on him intensifies, the pressure sparks a surprising physical evolution that threatens his existence, even as a strange new pattern of crimes gives rise to one of the most powerful threats he has ever faced. My god. I hate having to read a paragraph and me mentally thinking, man, I can't breathe for 1 second while reading. That's how it feels every time. Ever since I was in I think it was like middle school, when you get scarred where you're doing a popcorn reading, and it's like you have to skip through paragraphs, or everybody has to read a paragraph, and then every time people have to skip through one another, and it's like boom, 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 you're next. And whenever it got to me, I felt like I had to read a whole paragraph without breathing. And it's still happening now. And even though I'm not in class or whatever, but it still feels that way, right? But overall, this movie, I thought this movie was great. Oh my gosh, guys, if you are a Spider-Man fan, you are gonna love this movie. This movie has so many moments that was very similar to comic moments in here, visually, right? You probably seen it in the trailers too, where so many of the Spider-Man covers, the Amazing Fantasy, the #1 Spider-Man comic, has where it's just Spider-Man holding a guy and he's swinging through, and it's just they recreate that moment. There's so many moments like that throughout this whole movie that it just basically fan service moments, which is great. A lot of the action scenes are fantastic, so brand new, so nice, and so unique to this movie in particular. And you can tell that the director and just a lot of the people in this movie really wanted to do something different when it came to the Spider-Man franchise. Because if you ever played the games, the Insomniac games, especially with Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, there's so many moments that it's they were inspired by those games, and they put it into this movie because it was incredible to watch. But I'd say one of the best things about this movie, it just genuinely felt like a Spider-Man movie. And what I mean by that is that a lot of the past 3 Spider-Man movies, they have been so connected to the MCU so much that a lot of people's complaints were the fact that can Spider-Man not be by himself without Iron Man? And you kind of got a little bit of that through No Way Home, but even then it just became such a big multiversal movie as well. And so people really wanted to go back to just Spider-Man by himself as him, as a whole, no other things, just trying to interfere and all that, right? And one thing about this movie, it definitely solidified that, as you are basically following Peter Parker slash Spider-Man, and you basically get to see him, and he fights this loneliness that he feels throughout this whole movie. He feels that he has to do this by himself throughout this entire adventure that he has. And basically at the end of the movie, you finally get to see him realize, like, he doesn't have to do this by himself. And basically the importance of friendships. That's what he needs. That's what he has. And basically wrestling with the ideas of, like, maybe should I tell my previous friends and MJ that, yeah, I had a relationship with you guys. But I erased it because I want to protect you. But that was, like, the main thing that came from this movie, which I genuinely loved. I loved that issue that was brought up from this movie. Now, there's one thing that I was worried about. Even though it was kind of teased. I'm taking this off. My gosh. It always gets too hot in here for that. But there was one thing that I was worried about. And it was shown in the... it was teased in the trailer. It was announced when the movie was coming out too. Sadie Sink. I was worried, guys. I was worried that Sadie Sink was going to be Jean Grey. And the only reason why I was worried, because great casting, great actress, great casting for Jean Grey. I'm not going to deny that. But the one thing that I was worried about, and it was like the one flaw that I had with this movie, was Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. The reason why is because it felt so out of place for me. Just because it felt out of place because I think like the way that they showcased her character in this movie, it wasn't strong enough for me to make it where the villain was very compelling. I think it relied so much on the audience to know who Jean Grey was in order for you to be in it. And if I was just like a new viewer not knowing comics or anything, I would think like, yeah, this villain's kind of weak. And weak as in, it just wasn't somebody that I was really worried about nor cared for as Jean Grey. But I think what made just this character itself more, how do I say this? I guess more of an issue in this movie was the actress Sadie Sink, because she's such a great actress that she definitely elevated this character. So, I don't know. At the end, I'm also happy that they didn't mention anything about X-Men or mutants, too, because I genuinely wanted them to just let it be a Spider-Man movie. And so, I was like, I would just say, like, maybe that's like my only flaw through this movie. It was just like that. Because it just wasn't strong enough compared to the other moments that were happening throughout the whole movie. The Hulk scene. Oh my god. That was amazing. That was great. Oh my gosh. There was one thing I was worried about where they showcased Professor Hulk again. And I'm like, what happened? Where's Savage Hulk? I saw him in the trailers. He was awesome. Sorry guys. My hair right here. See this? It's messed. I can't. I'm putting this back on. It's like the second time I put it on, put it off and everything. Alright. There we go. Much better. Much better. Hulk in this movie was great. Especially when I was worried about Professor Hulk being shown up and not Savage Hulk, like the showcase in the trailers, but Savage Hulk definitely showed up, and whenever he did, it was amazing. The transformation was amazing. Hearing no banner, only Hulk was great. I loved it. That whole scene, I can't wait to watch that part again. Punisher, loved. I've seen everything with Punisher except for the second season of Punisher that was on Netflix. But everything with John Bernthal as Punisher is amazing. I love seeing him. He definitely is Punisher in my eyes, and I can't wait to see more from him in the MCU. I'm so happy that they brought him into the MCU. So that was great. The soundtrack in this movie, awesome, amazing. The moment I heard Bad Bunny start playing, I was like, oh my gosh, this movie's going to be an international hit. I was like, why wouldn't it be? Oh, that was crazy. And then, of course, I love that song from Tame Impala, Loser, as well. It definitely fit. Definitely very fitting for this movie when talking about the song Loser. But that was great. My other thing about this movie was the Department of Damage Control. I'm pretty sure they've been the villain multiple times. And I know they were in No Way Home, but I'm pretty sure they were also in other things too. I can't remember where, but they were also a villain in here. Like, you know, it's like, oh, they pretend to be the good guys, but they're bad. But like, you know, it's stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm kind of tired of this Department of Damage Control. Like, I'm sick of them. Get rid of them. I don't want to hear about them anymore. I'm done with them. Now, the end credits scene in this movie, I thought it was great. I think it's amazing. Anybody that's complaining about this end credit scenes, like, it didn't show enough, other movies have better end credit scenes. I mean, guys, an end credit scene, in my opinion, should just tease it where you would want to see the next thing. And the end credit scene, if whatever it may be, I genuinely think it's teasing up Spider-Man to join Secret Wars. And I know some people think, I don't know why I keep reading or hearing about this is a tease for Miles Morales, or Spider-Man's going to be in Doomsday. Guys, Spider-Man's not going to be in Doomsday. I'm pretty sure if he is, it's going to be like an after credit scene, or like the end of the movie where it's like 5 minutes left. If that. But I genuinely think Spider-Man's just going to show up in Secret Wars because of what they're trying to set up for. But I think that's what it is. Miles Morales, I really hope it's not that. That's ridiculous, guys. I'm pretty sure what they're planning on doing with Miles Morales, I'm thinking right here. I think it's going to happen where Miles Morales is going to show up in the 6th movie, I would say, because this is the 4th movie with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. So I'm pretty sure he's going to show up in the 6th movie, I would say. Maybe the next one. That'd be crazy if he shows up in the next one. But I would say the 6th one, because I think they're going to bring symbiote Spider-Man. I'm waiting. I want that to happen so bad. My favorite, like, not entertainment. My favorite, like, Spider-Man is Spectacular Spider-Man on Disney XD. Right? I love these live action movies. I've seen all animated Spider-Man movies, right? Or animated shows, right? But Spectacular Spider-Man to me is also one of my favorite, like, perfections of Peter Parker and Spider-Man together. Because they're able to have this argument of Tobey's the best Peter Parker, Andrew Garfield's the best Spider-Man, Tom Holland has the mix of both and all. But especially in this movie, when Brand New Day, I think it definitely solidifies that Tom Holland is just Peter Parker and Spider-Man all together. I can't unsee it now, because this is probably one of the best Spider-Man movies since Spider-Man 2, in my opinion. And if I had to rank all these Spider-Man movies, right? I'm kind of biased. But I think I just love Spider-Man No Way Home because it has all 3 Spider-Men in it. And how can you not? I don't care, nostalgia, fan service, whatever. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the fact that you get to see all of them together, working together as a team. And it's like almost an hour of them. And it's amazing. So many things that paid off. Seeing Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus. I loved it. I love No Way Home. I still think it's still my number one. It's still number one. Now, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire has always been my longtime favorite Spider-Man movie. And I say that because it's just a Spider-Man movie. And you definitely feel what everybody wants in a Spider-Man movie, in that one in particular, but it's directed by Sam Raimi. Because you get Spider-Man or Peter Parker, being alone, being defeated, trying to juggle multiple things with school, work, personal life. But you also get this now with Spider-Man Brand New Day. And you see that too. But I do think a lot of it in this movie, Brand New Day, is very similar to how Spider-Man 2 is. Because I think the only difference you would see is Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man gives up the powers of Spider-Man. While in this one, it's just Peter Parker trying to avoid becoming like what he is. And so, because he still wants to be Spider-Man, it's just he wants to be his own version of Spider-Man, not be the version that he himself is trying to like change and become. Because a lot in this movie, it definitely, I don't know, it's like a sense of puberty in a way, where it's like, you need to evolve, you need to let it happen to you, and Peter Parker's like, no, I want to stay the same. Like, no, dude, you're gonna change. And he did, and it was for the best. And so, I just need to see this movie again. I need to see Brand New Day one more time. Or maybe a couple of more times, because I've seen Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire so many times. But in this movie in particular, it's definitely up there. So I'm going to say Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, and Spider-Man Brand New Day so far. The other ones I'm not. They're important. They're not important, right? Where I rank them right now. Okay, but these are my top 3 Spider-Man movies as of right now. I just have a feeling something about this movie in particular that makes it where this one might push over to be my second favorite. But I don't know. I don't know. I just have to watch it again. But this movie in particular is it's just great, guys. It's been such a long time since ever since the MCU got Spider-Man, we finally got a movie where it's just a Spider-Man movie but in the MCU, and now it feels that way because the other ones you could argue where it just felt like MCU with Spider-Man, but this one it's like Spider-Man in the MCU and Spider-Man with MCU instead of MCU with Spider-Man. That's what I'll say. This one is for sure now a Spider-Man movie, and I think I don't know. I've always defended Tom Holland as being a great Spider-Man, but if anybody says Tom Holland is Spider-Man, I'm like, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. He's Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He's both. He plays them both so well, and he has evolved so immensely throughout these movies. And I'm happy to see him again. I can't wait for the next one to come out. I guess I'm pretty sure we're gonna see him next time in Secret War. So, but overall, guys, let me know what you guys think down below. Like, comment, subscribe. What do you guys think? Rank them. Rank these movies. Rank them. Rank them somewhere there. Okay? I don't know. Who's your favorite? Who do you hate? I still love Andrew Garfield. He's a great actor. I think that's my main thing. But overall, like, comment, subscribe down there. I don't know where, but I'll catch you guys next time.